The movie begins with Jamie, a diligent student, giving her teacher, Miss Cohen, a farewell gift as Cohen is leaving the school. Cohen reassures Jamie, praising her strong academic performance and encouraging her to keep up the hard work so she can attend any college she wishes. Jamie then asks Cohen about her replacement, Miss Matson, whom Cohen describes as a talented teacher Jamie will likely enjoy. The next day, Miss Matson starts her class, introduces herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Matson. I'm filling in for Mrs. Cohen for the rest of the year.
And immediately assigns a test, explaining that she is following Cohen's plan. After class, Matson approaches Danny, asking about his grades and reminding him that he needs to maintain them to stay on the baseball team. Danny asks if they can discuss his grades after school, and Matson agrees. During their conversation, Matson asks if he has a girlfriend, and Danny mentions Jamie, whom he admires, despite knowing Jamie is in a relationship. Matson starts to take an interest in Danny. She offers him extra help with his assignments, suggesting she's available after school on Thursdays. Danny declines, explaining that he plans to spend his upcoming anniversary weekend with Jamie. Matson then asks for his phone number so she can assist him with his assignments. The following day, Jamie is disappointed to receive a C on her paper. She approaches Matson to ask if she can improve her grade, as she needs high marks to secure a college scholarship.
I was just wondering, this is the first time I've gotten a C on anything, and I really need a good grade to get a scholarship to Whitendale.
Matson assigns her additional work due the next day, making it difficult for Jamie to revise her paper. Jamie, worried, decides to prioritize her college goals over her relationship with Danny. When she tells Danny she can't spend time with him because she's busy with her paper, he becomes frustrated, arguing that grades aren't everything. Jamie counters, explaining her family's financial struggles and how important scholarships are to her. Unlike Danny, whose parents paid for his education, Danny then gives Jamie an anniversary gift and leaves, feeling hurt. Meanwhile, Danny's baseball team suffers a loss, adding to his disappointment. Unable to enjoy his anniversary with Jamie, he ends up going to a bar with Matson, who encourages him to have a beer, assuring him she won't tell anyone. Their conversation centers around his relationship with Jamie and his struggles. The next day, Jamie is disheartened to see she received another C on her paper, even after following Matson's advice. She suspects Matson may have something against her and confides in a friend, who encourages her to speak to Matson again. After class, Jamie notices Matson and Danny having a close conversation, which only heightens her suspicions. Danny tells Matson that his coach may drop him from the baseball team, but she reassures him that if he improves his grades, he'll remain on the team. She offers him extra tutoring and empathizes with his concerns about meeting his parents' expectations of attending a prestigious college like Stanford. Danny opens up about his family, and Matson shares a bit about her own life, mentioning that she never knew her biological parents and that her foster mother passed away from an insulin overdose. Later, Jamie meets with Danny and confides that Miss Matson is unfairly grading her work, giving her lower marks despite her efforts. Danny questions why Matson would do that, but Jamie looks frustrated when she tries to explain further. When she attempts to ask another question, Danny has to leave to run errands for his mom. Later, Danny confronts Matson, asking if she's intentionally giving Jamie low grades. Matson responds by asking what Jamie has told him. Danny says it wasn't anything specific. Matson reassures him that Jamie is simply overthinking things. They share a kiss, and when Danny turns around, he sees Jamie watching them from outside the house. Shocked, Jamie walks away quickly. Danny rushes after Jamie, ignoring Matson's attempts to stop him. Outside Matson's house, Danny catches up to Jamie, who struggles to hold back tears, feeling betrayed by his relationship with her teacher. Danny tries to justify his actions, but Jamie doesn't trust him. Attempting to reassure her, Danny promises to address the situation, and they go back to Jamie's house. The following morning, Matson approaches Jamie and apologizes, admitting she was wrong in giving her a C on the second paper, and changes it to an A. Jamie responds sarcastically, pointing out that this apology doesn't fix the situation between Matson and Danny. Later, Matson speaks to the principal, reporting that Jamie has been acting aggressively. Although the principal suggests speaking directly to Jamie, Matson insists she can handle it and secure a positive outcome. In the parking lot, Danny checks in on Jamie, who tells him Matson raised her grade but admits she feels it was done out of guilt. Danny assures Jamie that he plans to break up with Matson that night. Jamie tells him that after the breakup, Matson is welcome to discuss their relationship. Danny arranges to meet Mattson in the park. When she receives his text, she feels excited. At the park, Mattson initially expresses interest in him, but Danny remains firm, telling her he disapproves of how she's treated Jamie. Mattson tries to persuade him to stay, but he walks away, leaving her in tears. In a moment of desperation, Mattson gets into her car, and in a reckless decision runs into Danny. She quickly hides his body, cleans the car, and later plants Danny's blood on Jamie's car without her knowledge. The next morning, the police discuss the case of a teenager found dead in the park. Meanwhile, Jamie repeatedly tries to call Danny, but he doesn't answer. A short while later, Jamie's mom informs her that the police have called. They have found Danny's body.
Honey, Danny's dead. What? They found his body in Bellevue Park.
The police request that Jamie and her mom come to the station. At the station, they meet Danny's parents, who blame Jamie for their son's death. Tensions rise, but the police intervene to calm everyone down. When questioned, Jamie explains that Danny had planned to come to her house after breaking up with Mattson. Surprised, the police ask if Jamie has any evidence of the teacher-student relationship between Mattson and Danny. Later, the police visit Mattson at her home. She denies any special relationship with Danny, claiming Jamie is making false accusations. Mattson adds that Jamie's behavior has changed in the past week. When asked where she was during the incident, Mattson says she was at the movie theater.
Oh, almost forgot. Miss Mattson, where were you Friday night between the hours of 7:30 and 10 p.m.?
Friday, I was at the movies.
Oh, yeah? What did you see?
I saw Blackberry Winter, actually.
The next day, police arrive at Jamie's house to search for clues. They find blood on the front of Jamie's car. Shocked and confused, Jamie doesn't know how to respond, and the police arrest her for Danny's death. Jamie's parents reassure her, saying she'll be free soon. While Jamie is in jail, her mother keeps a close watch on Mattson, noticing her strange behavior. Soon, as Jamie's parents had hoped, she is released. Convinced Mattson killed Danny, Jamie devises a plan to make her confess. That night, Jamie sneaks out to Mattson's house. Just as Jamie is close to getting her to admit the crime, Mattson realizes her intentions and tries to harm Jamie. "Look who's pathetic now. Don't like that, do you?" Mattson says, furious about the recorder Jamie had brought to capture her confession. Mattson approaches Jamie, and as she swings to strike, a detective catches her by the arm and disarms her. Fortunately, the police arrive in time and arrest Mattson. Later, they discover that this isn't Mattson's first incident with a student. She had hidden her past well enough to relocate to Los Angeles. The next morning, Jamie receives a letter from White Andale University, congratulating her on her acceptance. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.